First of all, hi,
Hi.
Cole Barnett. Cole Barnett is here. Love is Blind. We're all, super fans. We all watched this season. I thought it was one of the best seasons. It just
Nice.
moved so perfectly for me. I don't know, the pods were the perfect amount of time, jumped straight into drama. I mean, this was your life, but we really enjoyed watching.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. I mean, at least it was entertaining. So, yeah.
Well, how are you doing? Because you're looking way better right now than you did at the reunion.
Oh, yes. I'm doing much better. It's been good to get back into a routine and just be working, and yeah, I'm around a lot of good people every day. So, it's nice to not have it like on the forefront of my mind because yeah, I mean, the reunion was tough because like we kind of all knew it was happening, so we kind of had to carry your past relationship with you for a long time. So,
Well,
yeah.
when was that filmed? Because let's just make it very clear for people. If you guys didn't know, this was a year and a half ago, right?
Correct. Correct. So we waited a very long time before filming the reunion.
Oh, so
Yeah.
the reunion was filmed recently?
Correct.
Oh, okay. Wow. So people still
I don't
had
know
high
what I can and
emotion.
yeah, I don't know what I can and can't say. I don't know if I can give like exact details, but yeah, there was a very long period. So yeah.
Wow, because I think that, with a lot of reality TV, I mean, I know because I've been an avid watcher and viewer, as much as people like to say, oh, that, reality TV is scripted, is this and that, like you could tell that shit was real, the emotions were high,
Absolutely.
and you're back to your normal life. You're zooming with me from a WeWork right now. You do real estate, right?
Yes, yep. I'm an agent, do a lot of traditional real estate, and I also do investing where I flip houses and own rental properties and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Do you get clients that recognize you from the show?
Totally. Yes. I've had a lot of people who are moving to Texas reach out and want me to represent them. So I'm happy to do that.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if like randomly a client gets to work with you and is like, oh, hey, you're from that show. But you're saying people reach out to you because they know you do real estate and they want to work with you because they saw you on the show.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it said like realtor under my name on the show all the time. So everyone knows it. So yeah.
Okay. And what about like comments and reactions you get from people on the street? Like you're recognized. What? Yeah. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I mean, at first it was just really annoying because it would be like you're standing in an elevator and someone just like turns their phone at you and takes a picture, and like they don't know that it's not on silent, and it's just like, and like you're the only two people in the elevator or something like that. Like, so it's just been weird, but I'm now used to it. At first, it was the worst because you're just like, you just don't feel like you want to go in public because you're like, I just want to eat my meal. And now my waiter wants a picture with me. But now I'm used to it. So, yeah.
Also, what's so wild again with the time is just like you film this, you live it, you're in it, then time goes by, you go back to your normal life, you kind of probably move on a little bit, and then it
Yes.
all kind of comes back up again.
Yes, exactly. Which is why it's so weird, is because when they play the whole show to everyone else, it's super fresh and it's like, oh my gosh, this just happened. But to me, it's like I'm reliving something it's way long ago that like I haven't forgotten about. Like I knew this was coming, but it just doesn't feel the same to you as it does to everyone else.
Right, because we're living it now and we're in it. Obviously, people get very invested in other people's relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us how you got on Love is Blind? Were you I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like looking at you, is it hard for you really to date? I don't think so. Was it like I want to go on a reality show? This could be fun. Like what was the vibe?
All right, here's the true story. So I was working at a company. I had just quit and I like didn't even have social media because I just like to work and I like to stay off social media. But I re-downloaded Instagram because I was like, well, what do I do now? I don't have a job. I don't know what to do. Like I need to figure out my next thing. So I look at my message requests and I have a request from a production company and I just DM'd them back and said, like, this sounds like a scam. Tell me more. And they said what the show was. And I had never seen it. I didn't know what Love is Blind was. And they were like, send us a 10-second video saying why you'd be great in the pods. So my 10-second video was I don't have a clue what the pods are, but whatever they are, I'm gonna crush it. And that was it. And they loved it. So
Wait, legit 10 seconds?
yeah, because like first they just want like a 10-second
Oh,
video just to like see you and see you talk.
yeah.
But they just thought it was funny. So they're like, okay, now you can apply. So then I did the whole application process and the rest is history. So
So
yeah.
you were just like, you were just down. You were just down. You got this message. You were unemployed, you said at the time?
I had just stopped. Yeah, I had just left the company I was working at, and that's when I saw the message. But the reason I did it is because I while I was applying, because I was applying to like other jobs and things at the time in real estate and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I was thinking about starting my own company, da da da. So I was like, this sounds interesting. Like now would be a good time to do it while I'm kind of in between jobs. And I basically wait, what was I saying? I just forgot what I was saying.
Oh, that I was asking you like that you
I
were just down to do
basically
it.
yeah, so I watched the show while I was applying, and I thought season one was incredible. And I was like, this is like a very classy reality TV show. I saw that it worked for two couples. I was totally moved by season one and fell in love with all the characters. And I was like, you know what? Like, if there was a TV, like if I was gonna do a TV show compared to a lot of the other ones, I was like, this one would be it. So, yeah.
Oh, season one is like Cam and Lauren that are still together, right?
Barnett and
Oh,
Amber.
wow. Barnett and Amber are still together too. People were comparing you a little bit to Barnett. Did you see that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like we have the same last name. And then also, I guess we're both kind of just goofy, and that's why everyone was comparing us. So
Yeah, you got compared to a lot of people. I feel like people were comparing you to like Bachelor people because you have kind of this allure of a dude who could go on a reality show. Like I could see you on The Bachelor. You're like, yeah.
I guess.
I could see you on The Bachelor. I could see you on these things. But you're right. Love is Blind does have like it's not trashy. People aren't fighting, and drinking and throwing shit at each other. It's a really good show to go on.
Yeah.
So you were down to do it, but were you open to finding love?
Yeah, I thought it could work, which is why I did it as well. Is at the time I was dating through Hinge, and I was dating like a lot of people through Hinge, and it hit me because a lot of the questions in the application process got me thinking because they would ask you about dating apps and stuff because that's kind of the premise of the show. It is like, dating in today's modern world, and it's like, yeah, you're already kind of dating through a wall in the sense that like you're just scrolling through an app and you're basing everything off of physical attributes. So I thought it was a really cool concept. I liked the concept of like, wait, because I had got myself in trouble with that in the past where I go for the girl that I'm like sexually or physically attracted to and not at all the one that like I can just have amazing conversations with. It's like my first judgment of someone, like if I was going to like them or not, was always like, am I physically attracted to you? So I was like, this is pure. This is how it should be. This is like, let's actually see if they make me laugh and if they're sweet and if they're intelligent. And then from there, like let the physical part come later. So I thought it was just a cool concept.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And what people don't know about you, I feel like with Matt, it was really, out there in the show. You were also married before.
Yeah, I had been married in the past. Yes.
How old are you?
27.
When were you married?
When I was 23, 24.
Hold the phone. Can you tell us a little bit? Like, what was that? Was that high school sweetheart? Like, how did that happen?
No, it was also dating app. We met through a dating app and fell in love pretty quick. And I don't know. I just felt like I was like at the age and ready to be married. And it like I thought she was an absolutely amazing girl. And like I'm into mission work stuff and was very much so into mission work stuff at the time. And she was going on a mission trip like right when I met her. So I just thought that was cool. So we moved pretty quick. I mean, we dated for 2 months and then I proposed and then we had a 3-month engagement and then got married. And then we were only married for like half a year or so. So it just, we weren't ready for it. And we shouldn't have gotten married that quickly. So
wait, could I ask a personal? Were you saving yourself for marriage or something?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
I did save myself to marriage.
Okay. Yeah. Do you feel now looking back like maybe you guys wanted to bone?
No, we didn't get married just because we wanted to bone.
I feel
we
like
I mean
Sometimes when I look at young Christian couples that get married, I wonder that, I'm like, are you just so
I
ready for it? Not in a bad way, in a like, I mean, something is driving you to do that. And it could be, those hormones.
I think it definitely plays a role, but
Yeah.
it certainly was not like the sole or the primary
Right.
motivation. But it
Right.
was, yeah. I mean, that's one of the things is you're just like, yeah, at some point I do want to marry. Because at the time I was like, I still saw a lot of my friends who had just dated around and slept with a whole bunch of people, and then you kind of get on a path where they were like, I don't know if I ever want to get married because you can just kind of do whatever with whoever. So I definitely had a different mindset on it at the time, and it was like that wasn't my primary motivation, but I definitely wanted to like like
Consummate.
try to do
Yeah.
it that way. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What is religion like a really important part of your life still?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's less now what it was then. And then, like I don't think of it as like religion. I don't like religion. I think religion is like people going through motions and like feeling like they need to go to church and all this, but I definitely feel like, I want to be with someone who has a relationship with God. So I think like there has to be a spiritual aspect just in life for me, but it doesn't need to be like religious motions or like tradition per se.
Mm,
So,
mm. Um, would you date outside of your religion?
um, I'd be open to it, but I mean, most likely I'd like to
Yeah.
be with someone who loves Jesus. So,
Yeah. Um, Speaking of your ex-wife, I just saw on TikTok, I'm not a huge TikTok girly, but I saw that Zanab posted a TikTok pretty much insinuating. Did you see this yet or no?
no.
For realsies?
What is it?
She said that she like insinuated that she met up with her for coffee.
My ex-wife?
Yeah.
No, she won't talk. I mean, she hasn't talked to me and she hasn't talked to me since she told me that we were getting a divorce. Like, I haven't spoken to her.
No, but I mean, do you have TikTok or just
Yeah, I have
Instagram?
TikTok.
Yeah, well, Zena posted a TikTok. I don't know if it's like a trending sound right now, but it said like something, and I'm going to coffee with your ex-wife. And
Oh,
yeah,
she's going to coffee with my
yes,
ex-wife.
yes.
Oh, dang. Oh, I'm sure they have a lot to powwow over. That'd be I mean, they could lick their wounds all day, I'm
Oh my God,
sure.
you don't sound that shocked. I would be mortified.
I don't know why I'd be mortified.
I
I
don't
mean,
know. Two of your exes like getting together. Is that
sounds
how?
fun.
So that just happened on TikTok. I wonder again if it really happened, but you're saying no sweat off your back. Let them dish it out.
I mean, I I still I don't know. I don't know what that would be. I still care about my ex-wife. I mean, I haven't spoken to her in so long because she canceled all forms of communication. I mean, I don't even know if I'm sure she knows about the TV show.
Right.
But if she was gonna meet with Zineb, I don't know what that would even mean to me other than like, you know, I don't know. I don't even know how to feel about that.
I know.
But I it I mean, I don't know. What are they gonna do? Get together and talk about how horrible I
I
am?
know. It's an interesting. I wonder if it's just kind of to rile up, some drums on TikTok. But people were going pretty wild, and I have to say that people's reaction seems to be that you haven't really been talking about the show or your relationship with Z, and she has been making a lot of kind of snidey things. I mean, this was
Right.
the last one. There were a few references, not only the apology to you on the internet, but also some other digs. So people are going off in kind of a mean way, saying like, oh, she's still like obsessed with him. It's a year and a half later. She's still thinking about him. Like, hasn't she moved on? How do you feel about that?
I mean, if that's the road she wants to take, I just don't think it's a good look, you know? It's kind of like I get tagged in about dozens of things every day that are calling her pretty harsh things and saying bad things about her. And I am not going to take the time to repost any of those or post anything negative about her because Zenob's a good person. Like we tried to have love. We did our best. I'm not here to spend my time like beating someone down through the internet. Like there's a lot of other useless people out there who spend their time beating people down through the internet. It's like, I'm just not one of those people. I've got better things to do. I'd rather build someone up through I'd rather say good things about Zanab through the internet. It's like the internet's just, it's like a dark closet. Like no one's there to defend themselves. So it's like, you know, you're just, I don't want to participate in that.
Do you ever feel like you want to defend her? Because I have to be honest, she got, to me, it felt, and tell me if you felt differently, she got more shit than you. Like she got it bad.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't, in my heart of hearts, I do like I said, I will say what I'm saying now. And I'm like, I feel for her, you know, but I'm not going to defend her, because when I think about what happened, it's like, she did this to herself. Like it was her coming after me, you know, and saying all the things that she was saying about me that ended up biting her in the ass because the truth came out. And so it's like, I'm not going to defend her for that, but I will say, like, I do feel bad for her. I never would have wanted this to happen to her.
Yeah. And people also take it, I mean, even if, you know, there were certain aspects of your relationship where she didn't, you know, look the best or whatever, it's still, nobody deserves this kind of hate, this kind of dragging, you know, people really making her the villain. Because at the end of the day, it is a reality TV show. At the end of the day, you dated
right
for a month and a half, or right, like a year and a half ago.
2 months, something like that.
Yeah. So how is your family now? I know then they didn't want to come to the wedding. How did they deal with the show and the judgment and everything? Did they make peace with that?
What do you mean the judgment?
Like from people talking about their son and how he's acting on TV and
Gotcha.
like, yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been like, you know, the easiest thing ever, but I'm doing my best. We're doing our best to like kind of now accept it as the new normal, you know?
Yeah.
It's like what is done is done. So how can we just be our healthiest now that everything is out there and you are in the public eye and all that? But yeah, it was bumpy, you know.
It was bumpy at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you about kind of the feedback that I was seeing. What was your, how would you put it? Like, was most of the feedback that you were getting negative or positive from being on the show?
During like the middle of the episodes, it was 50-50, you know, half the people were saying good things and half would be saying negative things. But you know, now that things ended the way that it ended, almost everything, people are supportive and positive. So
Oh, wow. How did you handle all of that? Did you feel like, damn, I can handle this internet game? Like, was it no sweat off your back, kind of getting judgments from strangers? Because it's a weird thing, especially for someone who doesn't come from the entertainment industry. Like, how did you deal with that in general?
it was extremely difficult. It was definitely not no sweat off my back. It was like bad. It was bad. Like I don't think people realize that their words carry as much weight as words carry in real life, even when you type them and send them to someone on the internet. So
I think you even responded to one of my stories and I don't have my phone. Do you remember what it was? You were like, just wait, or like something. What was it?
I did. I was sassy for a second during the show. Whenever, because I was like, yo, like everyone's hating on me and like trolling me. So I was just like trolling people back because I was like, it's the internet. Like, I'm just gonna troll the trolls.
No,
Like,
you were, first of all, no, you weren't being trolly and I wasn't being trolly. I forget what it was. Fuck, I don't have my phone on me, but it was like, I
oh,
mean,
I know what you're talking about.
tell me.
Yeah, I said something of like basically it was, didn't I say like there's a lot that hasn't been
Yeah.
seen, basically?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
like you're
good old, it's
making
the good old,
judgments in the middle, like because everyone started posting stories before all the episodes came out, and I'm
right.
like, people need to understand that like these TV shows have storylines, right? Like storylines happen in real life, but also it is part of the show is that there is highs and lows, and like a lot of people start judging you during your lows, but like that's there for a reason. Like it's a part of the show.
Yeah.
And then and ours turned out to be a unique show because at the end, you know, they really played like flashbacks to what was actually happening based on what everyone was saying happened. So that was kind of
I
crazy.
know that was really, really crazy. Okay, let's go back to those pods that you said that you would crush, not knowing what they were. Okay, so your top two from what we saw were Colleen and Zanab, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I told you it went really quickly, but tell me a little bit about those connections if you can remember. I know it's been a while, but like you were kind of debating between them until last minute. Was the connection with Colleen as strong as Zanab, or where, because you didn't know what they looked like at that point?
I don't like Colleen and I had a lot of fun together. Like we would laugh like crazy, and like there's a lot that wasn't shown of just having fun. Like, we were just very kind of like jokey and just playing and all that. Whereas Zinab and I were able to really talk about life and dream together. And like I felt like we had plans to really be like have a life together, like really like, whether it was doing business or traveling or, seeing ourselves as like parents of a family. Like I was able to get a lot more of that when we spoke. So that was the final thing for me where I realized like Zinab was going to be the one in the pods.
And she's such a woman. I think that's what I thought at first.
Yes.
My commentary was like, not that I was judging your immaturity yet at that point. I think it was mostly like, she's such a woman. It's like when Kim Kardashian started dating Pete Davidson, it wasn't the age gap. It was, she's a whole lot of woman to handle. And that's what Zanab felt like to me. She's like very much a woman. She's like fancy and she's like, has her shit together seemingly and like all that. Like maybe even for her, I would say like I could see her with like an older man, like a an older
100%.
businessman vibe.
100%.
So, oh, you agree? Okay, so
yeah, absolutely.
The choice in you was interesting on her part, but maybe because she has a serious vibe, it was fun for her to have someone goofier and like and she didn't even seem to mind your messy apartment as much as like the viewers.
Right. Yeah. I had told her how I had left it going into it. Like she knew what had happened, like whenever I flew out and left it just destroyed. But basically, yeah, I think there was a lot shown though of my serious side. Like I mean, if we're talking about something serious or if we're what I mean? Like it just depends on what the moment is. But I'm like, I like to be pretty lighthearted and fun whenever we're like kind of on a vacation, like we were in Malibu, or even when we were home, like, and we were filming, it's not like we were working on something together. We were kind of just dating. And so a lot of what ended up being shown was like my silly side, but she and I in the pods, whenever we were prompted every day, we had a journal of kind of topics that we could talk about in the pods, and we had some super serious conversations, to where like I think Zena saw the mature side of me. So yeah, I think probably connected with that.
So while you were on this Malibu trip, I'm having flashbacks of like a lot of like little kind of jabby vibes. Like you guys weren't really vibing. Like I feel like there were a lot of moments, especially in Malibu, where it was like a back and forth kind of thing. I think a lot of your relationship was like a Gilmore Girls, like back and forth, but not always cute. So
Right.
was there at any point, I mean, this hasn't really, I feel like, happened on the show, but where you were like, fuck this, like this is not fun anymore, like this is, or were you just so committed to kind of finishing what you started?
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, was there any moment where you were like, I'm not feeling like good about this relationship during?
I mean, I think you saw when that happened, it was that final dinner. That was really when I got to that point, is I was so confused because of how I was being treated and then versus what she was saying. Is like I felt like I was like she wasn't treating me like she was ready to marry me, but she was telling me that she was ready to marry me. That's when I put all the cards out on the table and I just really started asking like hard questions and trying to figure out where we were at. But in Malibu, I was kind of oblivious because I was being myself. Like that beach scene where I said the thing about eating a chocolate or something. I don't remember what I said, but where I said, like, I used some phrase and said, like, she's out for it if I wanted chocolate, and I said no, and she said, oh, you're okay if I fatten myself up. Like, I did not know how like that looked now that they played it. Like those things, she never brought that up to me either. Like, the show ended up airing that, but it was like at the time, I didn't think much of it. Even like the part in Malibu where she wouldn't get in the pool because like she didn't want to get her hair wet. Like I didn't register that and think like, oh, I don't like her because she won't get in the pool or something. Like, to me, I was still very much so in love, and I thought I was just going through this process. And even talking with Colleen and even all of that, it was like in the moment, it's hard to explain because like no one was there, but like if you were there, it was just part of the experience. Like we were being asked about the other girls, like we were just like, that was, it's
right.
not.
You get prompted like, oh, like when you saw Colleen, do you regret the decision that you made? But
Yeah,
but
like,
but okay, but so you had the conversation with Colleen at the pool, which caused a huge thing, and you were like, really kind of feeling her look, like, maybe she was more of your type. You're the really stupid thing that you did was tell Zanab that which like you don't do that to a girl. Like that's an ego bruise. That moment when you're like, oh, this
absolutely.
girl. Yeah. So how were you drunk? Like how did that come out?
I mean, it's hard. I'm not gonna. There's things I know I shouldn't say. I mean, no, I wasn't drunk, but it's just a part of the you get teed up to say a lot of things you wouldn't say if there wasn't cameras there, I guess. But
Yeah.
the point is, I don't know. I shouldn't have ever said that to her, but
But
I
were
was.
you feeling that? Were you like, oh my God, Colleen, like the girl of my dreams, like, and I'm with Zanab and she's not as hot. Like, were
Colleen is
those
not the girl of my dreams. I don't think Colleen is that hot. I think a lot of that's blown out of proportion. I think I said what I said in the pool, and then it got dragged way farther than it should have.
yeah.
But
But you regret saying it to Zanab, like, and hurting her feelings.
are you talking about whenever like the whole rating thing happened? I totally regret the rating thing, but I just still am like, why the hell were you asking me to rate girls? Like, who wins? Like, how? Like, why did I even play into that?
First of
I
all,
don't
I'll
know.
tell you. First of all, I'll tell you, Cole. You always lie. Are you kidding me? Let me teach you
I should
something.
have. I
Yeah.
should have. I
With
was
shit
just
like that, you lie. Rate me 11 out of 10.
our thing
Okay?
was like our whole thing was being brutally honest with each other. And like Zenab was honest. Zenab told me I wasn't her type, but that never makes the air. But she told me all the time I wasn't her type and she hadn't dated guys that looked like me. But that's just not the storyline, right? The storyline is, oh, Zenab's not Cole's type. But it's like this went both ways so much more than people know.
Yeah.
And then my side of the conversation would be shown. So it's just like, you know, I was saying those things because I was being told those things as well.
I have a question though. You said something that, when she was kind of, because I think a lot of people know that a lot of this is sadly like was Zanab's insecurities of, because I kept on saying like, why is she so insecure? Like she looks amazing. Like Colleen isn't hotter than her. They're both hot. Like I
Agreed.
didn't, I
Agreed.
didn't, I didn't understand. I was like, she looks great. So I think people kind of know it was coming from a lot from within her, and it obviously didn't help that you decided to be brutally honest and you kind of say those things. Because if a really self-confident woman would come in and would be like, okay, I know I'm super hot, but this guy's just saying, he would go for a brunette and not a blonde, I'm still super hot, you know what I mean? Whatever. My point
Right.
is, you had made, when she kept on saying, I'll never be Colleen, I'll never look like her, you kind of said, I don't remember if it was a confessional, like, I didn't think she would look like a Colleen. Like, I knew her name was Zanab. Like, I already knew that.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of shit, I think, from saying that, where some people didn't think of that as a bad thing. People were like, no, he means that, like, he expected her to not look like most of the girls that he dated, and he was totally cool with that.
Yeah. It gets to a point to where it's like, at this point, she's believing things about herself that I'm not even saying. Like, it doesn't matter how many times I tell her she's beautiful and she's the only girl in the world for me, and I'm fully committed to her. It was like we like like we couldn't ever get over the pool party thing, is what that night was like. Which was frustrating because it was one of those things where it was like in all of our interactions, we weren't talking about it anymore. We were on really good terms. And I remember we went to that cocktail party that night, and it was like a switch flipped, and it was like, we're back to the pool, but we're back to Malibu. And I didn't do anything to bring that up. Like, we had been creating our love story, falling more in love, like loving each other for exactly how we look. And then we like flashed back to that, and I was like, why? And at that point, like, that's when I realized it was like, okay, she's doing this, she's crafting this now, because like I have not once since that moment told her that anyone is more attractive than her.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could do a better job, just to self-reflect a little bit, of like lifting the person that you're with up and making them feel, you know what I mean? If we're saying that she did come in with a little bit of insecurities, like affirmations are always really nice too. I'm just telling you for your
100%.
next
But what I'm
relationship.
saying is, like, you can affirm someone all day long, but if they believe this about themselves, it doesn't matter. They're just going to impose their insecurity on you regardless.
That's also true. So even though all of this was going on, and as a viewer, even though you saw that I maybe criticized you once, I also started seeing, you know, the other sides of Zanab that the audience was seeing, which was, you know, her judginess of you with the wine glasses and the stems and the chicken and, you know, all that, where it's like, give him a chance, you know, and stop kind of beating him down all the time. Were you still gonna say yes?
Sorry, before I answer that, I want to say, because I'm still thinking about what you said, and
Sure.
you're right. I 100% of course can improve and be better at what you mentioned in the affirmations, all that. Absolutely. But one thing I think needs to be spoken to, and it just doesn't get spoken to, is that like a part of Love is Blind and the whole experiment is based around, now that y'all are engaged, what do you think physically of each other and what do you think physically of everyone else? And it was not just the guys coming out and being like, we want to talk about this, let's talk about all the other girls and how we see you. It was like, that's the question that we're being asked in interviews, in the pool. Like, that's what's happening. We have to talk about those things. So like, I have two options. A, I can either be honest about it and just like, we can actually get somewhere in our relationship because we're going to like work through an actual issue, or you can just bury how you actually feel, be fake, and slide through the whole process and stay together when in reality you're not even authentically in it, which is what some people did. It's like, that's just not me. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, Cole. Okay. Well, we'll get to that in a moment because I have some questions about the reunion and how other couples were kind of acting. But so were you going to say yes?
No.
You weren't going to say yes.
No, I wasn't ready. I was totally willing to keep dating. We had talked off camera. We were ready to continue our relationship without cameras around and without all the pressures that come with knowing that you're being filmed. It just was too fast. Like,
Yeah.
I had learned that from my previous relationship. Like, if things aren't really smooth and you guys really can just be in a car together and not have to talk and just, you know, you're just comfortable with each other, it's like, don't dive into a marriage. And so we weren't to that like comfortable
Mm.
place. And so I wasn't ready to just wash my hands of the relationship and be like, I'm done with you. That was not the case at all. I mean, night before our wedding, 2 nights before, we went out to dinner and we did the whole thing off camera and we talked about it. And we knew like we weren't ready to get married, but we were ready to like keep our relationship going. And she told me that.
Wow. So knowing that, you were completely blindsided, yeah?
Yeah, because I knew like she still, you know, told me like the day of that she was gonna be like, we both were like, who knows? Like, what if like somehow, like if someone does say yes, sure, it makes you like feel like you more so would want to say yes and be very hard to like break someone's heart. So like that wasn't like, I was like, there's a chance she says yes. It's a TV show. I don't know like what's gonna happen. But I knew that like she knew that I was not going to say yes. And the producers knew that I was not going to say yes. And I think that's why they asked Zanab first, is because they thought she was most likely to say yes based off what she was telling everyone.
So, how blindsided were you? And not
Oh,
only her saying no, but her doing the
yeah.
whole, like,
Yeah.
having no, like, she might have said, I love you, Cole, which she said a lot. And I always wondered, like, does she love him? Because
The whole spiel of I had to do that at the altar because that's the only time you would listen to me, that's a joke. Like, are you kidding me? You absolutely did not have to say what you said from the altar when you had never once said those things to my face. So
so
that's a problem.
how do you chalk it up? Why did she do what she did? Like, was she trying to do good TV? Like, what she wants to villainize you? Like, why would she do that to someone in general? What's your, how do you like explain it to yourself, I guess?
I mean, I just think that I think I think girls' feelings are very real. I think Zena genuinely felt those things. I just think it's unfair to not share those as it's happening with the guy that you're with and let him know, like, hey, like, this is an insecurity of mine. When you said this, it made me feel this way. Because it's like, I mean, she remembered the cutie thing, right? Like at the reunion, she described it to a T. She was like, I said the thing about it. She was like, all I've been eating was peanut butter. Like, I didn't remember this at all because to me, it wasn't a thing. To her, it was a real thing. So I think, like, someone like her, like the girl that you're with, like, I really was hurting her. That moment obviously hurt her, else she wouldn't have remembered it. But I wasn't trying to hurt her. I didn't know I had hurt her. So I just think it's unfair to guys if you aren't communicating that and then you do what she did at the altars. That's how I understand it. It's like, everything she felt is valid. I made her feel those things, but I wasn't trying to. I didn't know I was doing that.
So the cuties thing, because I'm gonna get literally like macheted if I don't bring up the cuties thing, which obviously I didn't even know it was called a cutie, and you guys were just like, cute, like what? How did? Okay. Um, when I started, everyone was like, wait for the cuties. It's like, wow, that was really. I mean, I think it became really important because you're right. It was kind of the first time where there was like this flashback after the credits vibe, even though it wasn't after the credits, but and I think, how did you think that did that help you showing the cuties scene?
It helped me emotionally a ton. I mean, I don't think Zenab realizes like how damaging what happened at our wedding day was for me or just anyone. I just think it's part of our culture nowadays that like when you break up, it will not be amicable. Like if you break up with someone, you need to beat them down. You need to set them in their place. And that's why like I believe that's why her friends, they all stood up and cheered. They were happy that the guy had got it. Like she had put me in my place. And it's like as a guy, like if you do have even somewhat of a pure heart in a relationship and you're trying your best, it's like those things are shattering for us because now we believe we're all those things. And we believe that like every relationship we're in, we're just hurting people and like we can't do anything right. So when I saw the cutie scene and I was now able to like see, like I hadn't done what she said. It was a huge weight lifted off of me of like, okay, it doesn't make her bad. What it means is she really genuinely was hurt. But it also means that I really genuinely did not hurt her intentionally. Like it just happened somehow in the way that we communicated.
Yeah, to remind everyone, the cutie scene was she was eating the cuties, which are tiny like mandarins or something.
Yeah.
You started eating them too, and you were really excited. You were talking about going or getting like a huge dinner from like a hamburger place.
We had been planning like a date, like we planned our dates that were going to be on camera. And so we get to like choose our foods. We were having like lobster and like all this other stuff, I guess.
And she was having a couple cuties, and you said something like, oh my God, like, don't eat too many cuties. We have a huge dinner.
Yeah,
Or
save your appetito.
save your. And at the moment, did she react to that?
So then she said like uh I guess I don't remember the order of events, but she's basically said like, like I haven't been eating today. All I've had is like a peanut butter and a piece of some peanut butter and something else. And I was like, why? And then she explained that she like shouldn't tell me why she wasn't eating or something. And I was like, I offered you a poke bowl. She said, well, I didn't want the poke bowl today because we had that last night. I was like, okay. And then I just thought she was like, because I've seen a lot of girls do this, they'll like starve themselves in order to like look good on their wedding day and like fit into their wedding dress. So I was kind of like, oh, like, are you doing the like the wedding gown thing that I know girls do, right? They always like, there's gonna be pictures taken and you're trying to get all skinny or something for your wedding day. I was like, what? Why aren't you eating? And she didn't tell me. Again, it was like this secretive thing that she was waiting to unleash one day, because she never said like, hey Cole, like I'm not eating because you said this, that hurt me. Like I was oblivious.
Yeah, I think that scene for sure, after hearing everything and seeing that, it did seem smaller. But again, like we talked about, it's about how Zanab was feeling inside. So we can't really judge her for that. But let's get to the reunion. At the reunion, first of all, you looked really kind of sad. You weren't your usual happy, fun self. You got it hard. Like everyone was pretty much not Team Cole. Even the dudes turned on you. Brennan was not, into you. So much was going on. I'm like, I want to make sure we go into the important stuff. But one of the most important things that happened was everybody seemed to know things that happened not on camera that you did that were so horrible. Did you know that they had some, preconceived notions about your relationship that you weren't aware of?
Yeah, I knew going into it that somehow everyone like was mad at me about something. And the thing that kept coming up was this cutie story. I heard it a million times, and I would always ask people like, okay, what's the cutie story? Like, please tell me, because I could vaguely remember it, and even what I remembered was incorrect because it wasn't a deal to me. I remembered it happening. I just like didn't remember anything surrounding it because I had never heard it from her. And so she had then gone and told everyone about this, and everyone had formed an opinion on me. And so that's why I just got to the point where I was like, play it. I was like, you know what? I probably did some bullshit. I must look real bad. Like, I don't know what I did, but I was like, I want to see it even. I was like, I believed that it was going to be bad. And I was like, you know what? Just play it, because on the off chance that like I didn't do something horrible, like let's just see it. Like I just need to know. And sure enough, they found it and played it, which is cool. I just think it's the facts. You can accuse. And
so you're saying everybody was that mad and rolling their eyes at you and like being like, he's the worst because of the cuties?
Well, I mean, imagine that you are one of the girls on the show, and then you hear that there's this guy fat shaming the girl that he was with. Wouldn't you be pretty pissed at me too?
Yeah, but what I'm asking is if there's something else. Was there something with peaches?
No, I've heard something about potatoes. I guess the same thing happened with potatoes is the other story that I've heard. I've never heard of peaches.
Okay, maybe I was confused with the peas. And then there was also the bachelor party thing that she said you got a girl's number, and Brennan kind of was like, yeah, he did, or like didn't. Like you were like, we didn't even see girls. And
yeah, I mean,
the guys didn't. The guys were there. Why didn't the guys, if that's the truth, why didn't the guy say, yeah, there weren't any girls?
That's the thing. I asked the guys. I asked them right there at the reunion. I was like, you guys tell me, because I'm telling you, I know that I did not do that. I didn't speak to a single girl at our bachelor party. We went to a rodeo in which we had a private area rented for us. I had brought two of my bro friends, so I was with my bros all night. We chased cattle, went right back up to that, and then we walked over to a rented out saloon that was specific to us. And we had only dudes in there. I don't know, maybe the bartender was a girl. Nope, I'm pretty sure he was a guy too. But still, never talked to him. And then that's where I was like, where did we go, Brendan? Because they said we went out somewhere afterwards. We 100% did not go out afterwards. I don't know if maybe a couple of them did, but I sure wasn't there because Netflix bought us an Uber ticket and I Ubered to my apartment. So it's like, look, I asked him, I was like, y'all tell me. If y'all have it, then like share the story. And none of them could. Matt was like, this is news to me. Bartiz, SK, Brennan,
So
none of
why
them.
didn't they have your back at the reunion?
They didn't know. They had never even heard of this, I think. They didn't,
Uh,
they were just like, what are you talking about?
you know what I read somewhere that I don't know if it's true. So you were at a cattle thing with like
Yeah.
cows.
Yeah.
So somebody somewhere said that maybe you said like about the cow's number. Like,
What?
did they have numbers on them? The cattle?
Okay, that no, I don't. I mean, that
No,
would be.
no. This would be helping you.
I
Like
know it would,
somebody
but I
said
will tell
like
you that that's not
okay.
true either.
Okay.
I mean,
Somebody said
sure,
like you said okay, so it's not the
I
cattle.
guess that's possible, but I don't. I just that's not even true. I don't think I talked about cows
So that's
numbers.
a legit blatant made up lie
I
that you
mean,
got a girl's number that night.
I will tell you, I have no clue what that is about. Uh,
Wow.
I really don't. And that's why at the reunion, I was like, where'd we go? Who'd I talk to? And Brennan even said himself, he's like, I don't know, bro. I was plastered. So it's like, great. Okay.
Okay, so after that reunion, who are you in touch with today? Any of the cast?
Yeah, I still stay in touch with the guys. Or pretty much all the guys. I'm in touch with all the guys.
Okay, so even though you're in touch with all the guys, you still kind of threw shade before saying that some of the relationships are phoning it in.
I mean, that was just referring to the SK Raven situation that's come out after the fact.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I think.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really been super involved in that. All I know is it's like, I guess that wasn't the most real depiction of their relationship.
I
Now that
feel
we
you.
find out that that was kind of fabricated.
So when did you last talk to Zanab?
At the reunion, and then she reached out to me for all the photos and videos of us, and I sent them to her, and then she just never responds to me and just likes my messages.
Why would she what messages is she liking? What messages are you
Like
sending?
I just will ask her like how you doing, or just say like, yeah, here you go. Let me know if you need anything else, and she'll just like it instead of like saying anything.
Why would she want all your pictures and videos?
So she has content.
Content. There you go. There you have it. Content. Okay, Cole, you were a blast. Are you into creating content now? Are you going to be like an influencer?
I like TikTok.
Yeah.
I TikTok's fun. Instagram's like kind of but
I
like yeah,
saw you doing some like clothes switching or like shoes. Like you
yeah.
got it down.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm getting better. But yeah, I think TikToks are fun because it's to a sound and it's kind of already pre-made what you need to do. But yeah, I'll be on Instagram and TikTok posting a bunch of stuff and trying to do YouTube and other things. So yeah.
And are your DMs blowing up with
Yeah.
eligible? Oh,
Yeah, don't DM me if you want to reach me. Like find a different way because if you DM me, I will just not even see it. Like
wait, blowing up like girls sliding in for dates? Oh
yes.
my
Yes.
God, Cole.
Yes.
Wow.
Tons.
So you don't even need a dating app anymore. You can just
No,
use
but I
Instagram.
haven't gone on a single date or entertained any of them because I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not used to this yet. I'm not prepared for this.
What do girls say? Can you give me like a pickup line
Yeah,
when a
they're all
girl
like,
slides in?
I would have married you. Um, I don't know, sit on my face. Like all of them are that pretty much. Like
Stop. And then you go to their profile and it's like, I love my three babies and
yeah.
my husband. That probably
Oh,
happens
oh,
too.
yeah. There's a lot of them that it's like, wait, like, don't you
Wait,
have a husband? Like, yeah.
wait, you haven't gone on a date since the show?
No, hell no.
What?
Look at this. I'm like the worst, Amanda. I literally just like, I'm still sitting here talking about my exes, both of them. You know what I mean? It's just like, I just am not like, I want to find someone that's just like different. Like, I'm not wanting, I don't want to repeat of this all over again. I'm so sick of it. I'm so tired of like being myself. And then the girls are like, you're the worst human ever. And I'm like, I was just like talking about cuties. You know what I mean? Like that's just not fun. That's traumatizing. Like, so I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for girls.
Yeah, and maybe not like the girls that, want to date you because you were on a show. Like we need somebody that
Yeah.
doesn't
Yes.
watch TV,
Yes.
or
Yeah.
something.
And I guess most of
Um,
the DMs I'm getting aren't like local. Like I don't know who's local or not, but it's like
you're
if
like,
it,
okay, you can sit on my face, but are you in Texas?
right. Yeah. Like most of them are just like all over the place or in different countries or something. And so,
Oh,
yeah,
right. Netflix, you guys forget Netflix is all over the world. So it's not even geographically possible sometimes. Okay.
yeah,
But
but it's
Cole,
like,
I do want for you because I care. And first of all, you can always ask me, dating questions.
okay,
Um, but I think that even though I know that there was a little win for you, right? Like the cutie story came out, it wasn't as bad as it seemed. So that kind of made everybody think, okay, probably everything else wasn't as bad, even though, the rating, I told you, wasn't cool, all that shit. But if it happened a few times already where women are like, you're not making me feel good, then we do need to do a little bit of introspection there.
100%.
Okay.
Amanda, what would you rate me on a scale from 1 to 10?
Um, looks wise.
See, you see what happens? It's a tough
No,
question.
listen, I want to tell you something. I had a conversation with my husband earlier. I just want to tell you how girls think, okay?
Okay.
And I was talking about like my career, like something good happened, and I think he was like, "Well, you have everything." And I was like, "Okay, what do I have?" And he was like, "You're smart, you're a go-getter, you're like super smart, you're fun, like all these things." And none of them were how I look. He listed
Right.
all these things. And I'm like, "But what about me being like Virgie?" And he's like, "Oh, well, that doesn't have anything to do with like why." And I was like, "It doesn't." Now, usually women would not want to be successful or have, and the thing is, we crave it. We crave it every second of the day. So you could never go wrong with just complimenting and affirming and lifting and the way that we look. And also, okay. And also, so no, being brutally honest, you know, never really worked for anybody.
Yeah.
So, Cole Barnett, thank you for coming on the show. I've
Thank you for
enjoyed you
having
a
me.
lot. And I'm sure everybody is going to be super happy to hear from you, and stop sliding in his DMs. They're full.
That sounds good.
Yeah. Thank
Thanks
you,
for having
Cole.
me,
Oh my God, of
Amanda.
course.
I'll be sure to not be as honest as I am.
You got it.
All right.
Okay. Bye, babe.
Bye.